On a quiet, rainy morning in the city's business district, a folded piece of paper found in an ordinary trash bin set off a chain of events that would alter the lives of a young orphan and a successful businessman, and quietly remind many of the power of compassion. The letter was written by Lily, an 11-year-old girl who had lost both parents before reaching her teenage years. It was never addressed to a specific person. There was no name on the envelope, no expectation of a reply, just a few carefully written pages, placed inside a plastic bag and left behind, as if the writer believed that hope itself might one day stumble upon it. A childhood marked by loss. Lily's life had been shaped by hardship from an early age. Her father died in a workplace accident when she was 6 years old. Her mother, left to raise her alone, worked multiple jobs to support the family. Friends recall her as resilient and warm, despite the exhaustion that came with long hours and little rest. 3 years later, Lily's mother became seriously ill. By the time doctors gave a diagnosis, it was already too late. Lily was 9 when she stood beside her mother's hospital bed for the last time. After her mother's death, Lily went to live with her elderly grandmother in a small rented room on the outskirts of the city. The space was modest, barely large enough for a mattress, a small table, and a single light bulb that often flickered. The grandmother survived on a small pension and by collecting recyclable materials. Lily continued attending school, wearing the same uniform year after year. The night the letter was written. According to later accounts, the letter was written on a night when Lily's grandmother developed a high fever. With no savings and only a few coins left in a small metal box, Lily realized she could not afford medical care. That night, while rain fell steadily outside, Lily sat on the floor and wrote. In the letter, she explained who she was and why she was writing. She apologized repeatedly for bothering whoever might read it. She made no request for gifts or money for herself. Her only plea was for help for her grandmother. I am not asking for toys, the letter read in part. I just want her to live. At the end, Lily wrote a final line. Thank you for listening to a small girl. The next morning, on her way to school, Lily placed the letter into a trash bin near a large office building in the city center. She did not wait. She did not watch. She simply walked away. An unexpected discovery. That same morning, Daniel, the owner of the office building, arrived earlier than usual. Known in business circles as disciplined and reserved, Daniel oversaw multiple companies and was accustomed to long days filled with meetings and financial decisions. As he passed through the lobby, something caught his attention, a plastic bag inside a trash bin containing a neatly folded piece of paper. At first, he considered ignoring it. Then, for reasons he later described as impossible to explain, he took it out and opened it. He read the letter standing up. Then he sat down. By the time he finished reading, witnesses later recalled that Daniel remained silent for several minutes, holding the paper with both hands. He canceled his meetings for the day. It didn't feel like a letter, Daniel later said in a brief statement. It felt like someone whispering for help, hoping the world might be kind. From words to action. Using the return address faintly written on the page, Daniel drove to Lily's neighborhood, a part of the city he admitted he had rarely visited. After asking nearby residents, he found the small rented room. When Lily opened the door, she reportedly believed she was in trouble. Instead, Daniel knelt down and gently asked her name. Within hours, Lily's grandmother was admitted to a hospital and received proper medical treatment. Doctors confirmed that timely care had been critical. She recovered. Daniel arranged ongoing medical support, stable housing, and education assistance for Lily. He did so quietly, without public announcements or media involvement. A future rewritten. Today, Lily is no longer the frightened child who wrote a letter by dim light. She returned to school, excelled academically, and later chose a career in healthcare, inspired by those who helped her grandmother. Daniel, for his part, keeps the letter in his office desk. He has declined multiple interview requests, stating only that the story was never meant to be about him. I didn't save her, he said once. She reminded me what saving looks like. A simple reminder. In an age of constant noise and endless information, this story stands out for its simplicity. A child wrote a letter. A stranger chose to read it. One decision turned despair into possibility. The letter was never meant to go viral. It was never meant to be found, but it was, and because of that, two lives, and many more since, were changed forever. Sometimes hope doesn't knock loudly. Sometimes it waits quietly, folded inside a piece of paper, until someone decides to stop and listen.